The latest Kansas mail-in ballots put Kobach lead at 110. Correct spelling of last name to Collier instead of Coyler. Kansas Governor Jeff Collier, left, alongside Lieutenant Gov. Tracy Mann, addresses the media at the Kansas State House in Topeka, Kansas, Wednesday, August 8, 2018, a day after his primary race against Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach. Chris Neal, the Topeka Capital Journal via AP, Topeka, Kansas. AP, the latest on the unsettled Republican primary race between Kansas Gov. Jeff Collier and Secretary of State Chris Kobach. All times local, 6:15 p.m. Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach's lead over Gov. Jeff Collier stands at only 110 votes after late mail-in ballots were added to previous vote totals Friday in their hotly contested Republican primary race. Collier has accused Kobach of advising county election officials not to count some late mail-in ballots that legally should be counted. Kobach said his advice on their handling has followed the law. State law says mail-in ballots would be counted if they were postmarked Tuesday and arrived by Friday. Kobach's lead had been 191 votes when statewide results were first reported Wednesday morning. More than 313,000 ballots were cast in Tuesday's primary. Counties still must review almost 9,000 provisional ballots given to voters at the polls when their eligibility is in doubt. 3:55 p.m. An aide to Kansas Gov. Jeff Collier says Secretary of State Chris Kobach's top deputy also shouldn't advise county election officials while their tight Republican primary battle hangs in the balance. Collier spokesman Kendall Marr said the governor objects to Kobach having Assistant Secretary of State Eric Rucker take over Kobach's election duties while the race is unresolved. Kobach announced Friday that he's stepping away from those duties until after the final primary vote is certified by the state. Collier had called on him to stop advising county officials on yet uncounted ballots. Marr said that while Rucker is a good and decent man, assigning Kobach's duties to an employee that Kobach can fire does not end conflicts of interest. Collier has said the state's attorney general should advise counties. 2:40 p.m. Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach says he's stepping aside from his duties as the state's top elections official while his hotly contested Republican primary race with Gov. Jeff Collier remains unresolved. Kobach announced his decision Friday in a letter to Collier. Collier had demanded Thursday that Kobach stop advising county election officials on the handling of uncounted ballots in Tuesday's governor's race and let the Attorney General do it. The Secretary of State said he is handing his election duties over to Assistant Secretary of State Eric Rucker. He said Rucker also will serve in his place on the state board that certifies the final primary election results. Collier is a member of that board, and Kobach suggested that the governor step aside and let Lieutenant Governor Tracy Mann step in. 2:30 p.m. Kansas counties are reporting updated vote totals in the contested Republican primary between Gov. Jeff Collier and Secretary of State Chris Kobach that reflect late mail-in ballots. The Secretary of State's office was updating results Friday as it received them from individual counties. With the first 25 counties reporting, Kobach's lead almost doubled to 241 votes from 121. That's still a tiny margin with more than 311,000 ballots cast. Kansas law says mail-in ballots are counted if they are postmarked Tuesday and arrive by Friday. Collier accused Kobach of advising county election officials to not count some late-arriving mail-in ballots that should be counted. Kobach's office was planning a formal response later Friday. 1:20 p.m. Kansas Gov. Jeff Collier's re-election campaign plans to have a representative in all 105 counties next week as local election officials review mail-in and provisional ballots to arrive at final official vote totals. Collier and Secretary of State Chris Kobach are locked in a tight race for the GOP nomination for governor. The primary was Tuesday. Kobach led by 121 votes out of more than 311,000 cast as of Thursday. Counting in their race is not complete because state law says mail-in ballots that are postmarked Tuesday can be accepted by the counties as late as Friday. County officials also must review perhaps several thousand provisional ballots given to voters at the polls when their eligibility is in question. Collier's spokesman said the governor believes Kobach's office is advising county clerks to discard mail-in ballots that by law should be counted, and the campaign representatives will be at canvass meetings to be sure that they are. _____10:35 a.m. Kansas Governor Jeff Collier says he's not entirely comfortable with the vote counting process in his still unsettled Republican primary race with Secretary of State Chris Kobach. Collier said Friday on Fox News that he wants to make sure every legitimate vote is counted. Kobach led by 121 votes out of more than 311,000, with perhaps several thousand votes uncounted. Kobach promised Thursday night that he would remove himself from further counting but said the move would be symbolic because counties do the actual work. He did so after Collier demanded in a letter that he stop advising county election officials. Collier told Fox News that he believes Kobach has advised them not to count some ballots that should be counted. Kobach's office has not responded to those allegations. ____9:25 a.m. An aide to Kansas Gov. Jeff Collier says Secretary of State Chris Kobach's promise to remove himself from further counting in their contested Republican primary race is not enough. Collier spokesman Kendall Marr on Friday reiterated the governor's demand that Kobach stop advising county election officials on handling perhaps several thousand as yet uncounted ballots in the governor's race. Kobach led by 121 votes out of more than 311,000 cast after discrepancies were found Thursday between two counties' totals and those reported on the Secretary of State's website. The Secretary of State advises counties, which handle actual counting. Kobach noted that Thursday night on CNN but said he would stay out of further counting because of Collier's demand in a letter Thursday. But Marr says Collier wants Kobach to step aside from his actual advising role. Copyright 2018 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, written or redistributed.